for the Franklin County Board of Education. First item is school board recognition.
Okay, so I want to, publicly thank all of our board members for all of their service to our children and our families. You all do thankless work, and so this is our time to say how much we appreciate you and thank you. And we are blessed today to have our judge executive, Mr. Houston Wells, here, and Houston's got a special proclamation to read. Thank you.
Are you going to sing and dance?
I am not going to sing. Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
I am not going to sing. However, I bet I could have a better tune than you.
Oh, I know you can.
To all of you out here, thank you. To all to the board members, God bless you. This is an honor to be here today and proclaim January as recognition of your service. And as always, we recognize you. I was once one of you, right, Nick? You remember those days? I see some of my former students here. You make me so proud that I can stand here today and recognize the school board and you all as well as that you're here serving our community and making our community better by teaching our young people. So God bless you and stay safe. And thank you for what you do. If you don't mind, Mr. Kopp, I'd like to read the proclamation. Whereas our community values a quality education as a vital step along the pathway to success for our children. And whereas Natalie Lau, Chuck Fletcher, Belinda Henson, Larry Perkins, and Justin Watterson contribute greatly to this community through their service on the Franklin County Board of Education. And whereas these decision makers are responsible for maintaining strong, effective budgetary oversight, high standards of employment, and a safe, well-managed set of school facilities. And whereas these board members are serving our community with integrity, honor, and commitment to our children's future. And whereas January 2022 marks Kentucky's observation of their contribution through School Board Recognition Month. Now therefore, be it resolved that I, Houston Wells, Franklin County Judge Executive, do hereby proclaim the month of January 2022 throughout this community as School Board Member Recognition Month, and urge all citizens to honor Justin Watterson, Larry Perkins, Belinda Henson, Chuck Fletcher, and Natalie Lau for their service. God bless you. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Everybody stay safe. Stay safe.
Thank you very much. The next item is election of officers.
Okay, and this is the part where I need to conduct the election of officers for 2022. I would like to open nominations for chairperson. And this is where one of you nominates someone for chairperson.
Chuck, are you interested in moving up?
Mr. Chairman, I nominate Natalie Lau.
Okay, we have a nomination for Natalie Lau for chairperson. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Belinda Henson seconds the nomination. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, may I have a motion to close the nominations for chairperson? Is there a second?
Second.
All right. There are no other nominations. All in favor of closing the nominations and electing Natalie Lau as chairperson, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Natalie, welcome back as chairperson. I would now like to open nominations for vice chairperson.
That's what you do.
So I think that means Belinda Henson nominates Chuck Fletcher.
I nominate Chuck Fletcher.
Is there a second?
Second.
That is seconded by Larry Perkins. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, if not, may I have a motion to close the nominations?
So moved.
Justin motions, is there a second?
Second.
Natalie seconds. If no other nominations, all in favor of closing the nominations and electing Chuck Fletcher as vice chairperson, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chuck, welcome back as chairperson, or as vice chairperson, excuse me. All right. May I have a motion to nominate Rebecca Roberts as board secretary and Shane Smith as board treasurer?
So moved.
That's a hard decision. I'll make a motion to nominate them.
Okay, I'll second.
And Natalie seconds, okay. All in favor of Rebecca Roberts as board secretary and Shane Smith as board treasurer, please say aye. Any opposed?
Only if she quits giving me that name.
Is public comments, do we have anybody?
Any public comment?
No, okay. And then new business.
First item is a donation from the Western Hills Boosters, football boosters. Donations valued at $1,000 or more must be approved by the board. The Western Hills High School football boosters would like to donate $2,254.79 to the boys soccer team. The recommended motion is to approve the WHHS football boosters donation to the soccer team as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
This is very nice. Any questions or comments? All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. The next is KASA Legislative Drive-In Bus Request.
KASA is requesting the use of 2 buses and bus drivers on January 12th from 10:45 to 1:45 for the purpose of transporting KASA members and legislators from the Capitol Annex to the VFW for a legislative drive-in day. All costs associated with this request will be covered by KASA. The recommended motion is to approve the use of 2 buses and bus drivers for the KASA legislative drive-in day.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Is there a second? Second. Any questions? Have we done this before? I know we've done it, but is it this group or is this?
I don't think that we've actually done it for this event, for this group, but we have done similar. The thing that we always ask with these is they keep the political infighting out of it. It's just a day for all legislators, not just one side or one other.
I was just wondering about it. I know we use our buses in case of emergencies, to transport people or what have you. If we have tornadoes or whatever, we may need to, move a lot of people quickly. But I'm kind of a little bit hesitant, starting to use our buses for those type of situations. I mean, I don't know, I just can't. Even though we get paid mileage or what have you, our buses, most of our buses, like I said, is one of those things that we continue to put more and more miles, just got to get miles on it. After they get so many miles, we have to buy new buses.
With this particular group, this is a group that we're very close with as a school system, the Kentucky Association of School Administrators. We have several members here in the room, and we let them use our spaces for meetings and things like that. I would say that if we were Muhlenberg County, obviously, we wouldn't get this request, but since we live in the capital, that's why we're getting it.
Now, is this like the teacher union or?
No, this is a group of administrators, so it's not a union. It's the group that I would say probably pretty much all of us, if not all of us, belong to. We don't really have another administrative group for who we all are. And I know Charlotte is our legislative, or I'm sorry, our ambassador to KASA, and very good group of folks. And I think what they want to do is just, they want to make sure that legislators get to hear the voices of teachers and members of KASA so that they'll understand how important public education is. So being that it was, it really is for the benefit of public education and it is not political in any way, that's why I bring it to you without hesitation and say, I think this is okay.
All right. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item is reports to the board.
Personnel actions taken since the last meeting of the board are presented for your information.
And school councils.
Draft minutes from school site-based decision-making councils are presented for your review.
Instructional services update.
Okay, I have a lot to update you on. We are busy in January, and the first item that I'd like to talk about is Virtual Learning Academy. And as we think about moving forward and the impact of COVID-19 and how we're going to provide service for students who don't feel safe coming to school, the update is we currently have 175 students now enrolled in the Virtual Learning Academy and 22 students enrolled in eSchool. And so those are two different options we provide right now, and we can expect that we would like to fuse those two options together in some way next year, but probably the adequate number is about 50 students who really do well in a virtual learning environment. Most students will learn more and respond in the face-to-face environment. So, having said that, I just want to give you that update. Our 4 teachers are working very hard. Our new director is working hard. We've had some upset parents who felt surprised maybe by their need for their child to go back to school, but our teachers have worked hard to try to have ongoing communication and make sure kids are successful. It's really our responsibility to make sure we place them where they can be most successful.
How many are you sending back to?
35 are set to go back tomorrow.
Okay.
And these are students we've had ongoing contact with. In the format, you can tell how many hours they've actually maybe logged on or assignments they've turned in, and some of them are really struggling to do it without that support, that face-to-face support. So I think that supports, too, how great our teachers are in school and face-to-face. It's a great option for some kids, a not so great option for others. So we're just trying to feel out the best solution for every child. So, know that we may come to you in the summer with a proposal that fuses both together, lower number of students, and probably grades 6 through 12. In our experience, we want those elementary students back in school. That's the best place for them, where they can be most successful, learning to read, learning the basic concept of math and number skills. Another update is the December 1 child count for special education. On December 1, our director of special ed reported to KDE our numbers, and we noted the following, and I wanted to share these numbers with you. Our numbers increased from 934 students to 958 students in the district that have been identified for special services. Overall percentages decreased. So we went last year from 15% of our students to 14.7%, and as long as you stay under that 15%, that's a pretty average place to be when below 15% of your population has been identified for special services. And so our enrollment went up. Our numbers went up, percentages went down. It does not mean that our funding will increase because KDE is holding us at the 2019 funding rates because they don't want districts to lose money. So they're just going to hold us at that rate. But some interesting trends that I've been wondering about and wanted to share with you. Our speech and language needs increased from 273 students to 287 students. And this number has steadily increased since 2008. Our emotionally, behaviorally disability numbers are down from 56 students to 47 students. And I think COVID probably played a role in that. They were at home, there were less behavior events, but also our behavior interventionists that this board approved are putting those interventions in place that are probably helping kids perform and be able to cope with their situations. Our
So, are those jobs all filled?
Yes.
They're all filled.
They are. Our specific learning disability numbers have increased, and we think this is most likely due to the refinement of our intervention processes. Our teachers are more and more skilled at identifying what the need is, targeting the need, being able to identify when they need that extra help. So shout out to our teachers and our MTSS district committee, and we've really refined those processes. Students identified with neurodiversity or autism have increased from last year, 122 students to 128. But what's interesting, in 2008, 30 students were identified with autism, and we've increased to 128 students in that amount of time. So 13 years, we've gone from 30 kids in the district to 128. So that's just,
because of identification?
it is because of identification and better training and knowing, knowing how to help and where to intervene and what the behaviors look like. We're starting to recognize those.
Do you know what the rate for autism is? One in how many? I know when I retired in 2009, it was 1 in 100.
I don't have that percentage.
Jamie, do you know what?
We can get it. I have the overall number.
I don't have it either. I get it for you.
Yeah. And then another interesting, and the last one I'll share, is students identified with developmental delays have decreased from 93 to 87 this past year, but in 2008, our numbers were 174 for developmentally delayed, and those are the students who first enter school. And so we're either identifying them and intervening before they start school through other community resources, and then we're down to 87. So, we've got some celebrations in this data, but I want you to know that Jamie's team is working hard and continuing to train teachers.
I was just gonna say, Belinda, Jamie will get you a firm number, but just doing some rough math.
I can look it up.
The students receiving special education services, a little over 13% are identified as autistic, and just within the entire population, it's about 2% of the whole school population.
Charlotte, I have this if you want it. It says 1 in 44, and it says 1 in 27 boys, and then 1 in 116 girls.
Do you think we're better at identifying autism, or?
I do. And then outside, agencies as well, and
And I think in the past, it was maybe identified as something else. And now we have been able to fine tune what their services need to be to help them. So wanted to share that with you and the funding implications for that. Again, my team let me know today, over the holidays, we had middle school teachers who came together to create assessments. We paid them a stipend. Our folks are working hard. Our new teacher cadre will be meeting on January 20th. 20 staff members will be training with PEBC in Colorado at the end of the month, and federal funds pay for that trip. And iReady will offer training for administrators and teachers on the next district staff day. So folks are busy. Coming up for you, RTA grants will be submitted for your approval at the mid-month January meeting. I think we have about 5 elementary schools who will be applying for the $65,000 grant. Elementary Superintendent Cup will take place on January 25th and 26th, so that may be something you want to attend. Mark will be giving them their trophy with Skittles. Jessica Masters at Franklin County High School was awarded an STLP grant for $500, and there were over $26,000 in requests, and so our school was one of those who received that from the Central Kentucky Association of Tech Coordinators. And last but not least, on the agenda coming up is the CDIP, the Comprehensive District Improvement Plan. And what I want to let you know about that, and you can ask questions, but basically it's the pre-COVID plan. KDE said we realized COVID put a hold on things you were doing. We've adjusted timelines, we've adjusted the goals to reflect reading and math and science, gaps, transitions, and graduation rate. We reset the percentages for those goals. We added the use of the federal funding and all the things we've approved for purchase, summer school, literacy aids, curriculum resources, additional interventionists, and all the training in PD. But our goals and strategies from the 2021 plan are still appropriate for moving student achievement forward. And so that will be coming up for your approval on the agenda. And February meeting, we're gonna bring you a mid-year data update on all our progress. So excited about that. Any questions for me?
I think we're good at interrupting you.
That's fine. That's fine, thank you.
You're welcome. So was that the CDIP review, or do we have another?
No,
Yes.
that would be it, and if you have questions at that time when you approve it, Tammy is also here, our Director of Curriculum Instruction and
And
Assessment.
we're not approving it tonight, this is just review, is that correct?
It's the annual review.
Annual review,
Annual
sorry.
review, so there's no motion with that, so.
If you have questions, you can ask at that time.
What about the superintendent?
Okay, I'll be brief. I know you all been here a long time. I did want to again reiterate how much we appreciate everything that you do. And, thank you, again. Well, our, folks, our principals and our directors came together and, helped put together those baskets that Rebecca put together for you all, with items from each of our sites. And just, you know, we're very happy to share that with you and, wear those things with pride, get to show off all of our school swag. And it was a really nice thing, so thank you to the principals and directors for donating that.
Thank you.
The other thing I have to share is it is that time of year that we need to start thinking about snow. And so, just so that our public that sees this meeting can keep that in mind as we start getting inclement weather. We will try to make a decision on school as quickly as we possibly can. Mr. McKinney, Mr. Fields, and myself will get up and we'll drive the roads in the morning. We will always try to make a call by 5-ish in the morning because our first bus starts up at about 5:15, isn't that right, Brandon? Yeah. So we need to make that call by 5 a.m. We'll try not to call and send it out to the public too early. We don't want to wake you up at 4 in the morning with a phone call. But we will try to make those calls as quickly as we can. There are two things that we can do as a school district this year if we have inclement weather. We have 5 NCI days remaining, and then we also have some built-in days in our calendar that we can use as traditional snow days. What we are going to try to do is use some of those traditional snow days first. So if we do have any inclement weather, we're trying to hang on to those NTI days if we have another bad situation, an outbreak with COVID. So you could string a few of those days together with NTI for using for that purpose. So if we do have a snow event, the first 2 or 3 snow events that we will have are going to be traditional snow days. And I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. We're going to be talking with our principals about that as well, and we're going to start planning for those other NTI days that could potentially be used as well.
Can I
Any
ask a
questions?
question?
Yeah.
If we have like a snow that's 5 or 6 inches deep, and then we know the next morning we're not gonna have school, would you let us know the night before? Because there's so many teachers that live in Louisville or
Yes.
Lexington, whatever. It's just so hard for them. I talked to teachers, this was an administration task, that they were halfway to Frankfurt when they got the message. And
Yeah.
that's just, it's sensitive.
If it's dark and the parking lots aren't clear, and we know that.
We will make that call that afternoon, so, yeah.
We'll see what happens Thursday.
Thursday, going into Friday morning is what Brad and I were already sweating, getting up at 3:30 in the next morning. I think Mr. Fields, he probably gets up at that time every day, so he's probably ready. That's all I have, folks.
Okay, all right. The next item is the consent agenda.
The consent agenda is presented for your approval. The recommended motion is to approve the consent agenda as presented.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
I had what's that short school day, is that for one student or for? hope it has all-
Yes, sir, it is.
How can I sign up to be in the ski club?
Isn't that great?
I know, that sounds nice.
All the principals here, did you ask your kids at school to have a good snow dance?
sports.
Yeah. All right, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
Madam Chair, I second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.